Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hopefully you guys are having a lovely evening, and as promised, we're going to be breaking down some word problems, basically expressions. Try to figure out how we can create some points and plot them on a graph. So, if you are going into your GED, your ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, or any of those standardized testing, and you always had problems with 1, translating word problems into expressions, 2, graphing equations, well then this is the live for you. So I am just a hair bit late, I know. I'm trying to support a lot of my other TikTok creators that are doing amazing stuff, and I just got caught in the whirlwind. That's life. So as you guys are coming on in, come in, say hello, tap away, because once we get to that 1K, then I can actually sit down and break things down for you. All right, so as I see people coming in, hello. All right, everything is going well. Hello, Sir Kenneth. Hello, Clueless. Hello, Sister T. Hey, True. Okay. All right, welcome on in. I'm going to turn this down a little bit, acting like we're in the club. Okay. Hello, Maya. How are you? All right. So we're actually taking a combination of 2 things going on at the same time. Now, I love how a lot of people are starting to take advantage of my tutoring service. Now, I just want to make sure this is clear. What I do on TikTok is just give you a little sampler. If you want me to call you your little dealer or maybe your plug, all right, I'll be your academic plug. Right? So I show you a little bit of what I do, but then when it comes to those services and courses and all that stuff, all of those are not free. I know. I wish I could give it away, but it's something called mortgage, bills. I'm not even trying to buy an island. I'm just trying to make sure that the phone calls will stop. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So come on in, tap away. Hello, Marvelli, how are you? I know it's going to take me a time for me to let your name flow off my tongue, but here we are. So good evening to you. And I know as a lot of people have gone back to school, I think everyone should be back at school by now. Okay, and we know this weekend is a nice 3-day weekend. We're definitely going to need our pause, but hey, I know a lot of schools, they already had their first quiz. I know some schools are working towards their first assessment because they started early. Now, if it's you or if it's your child or some of you guys are going back to college, if you need some assistance with your math, especially if it's Algebra 1, Algebra 2, okay, around those things, maybe even the intermediate algebra courses, please reach out. I'm here for you, okay? You don't have to go through this alone anymore, all right? Okay, so if you do need help with my services, I do have private and small group services. If you want, you can purchase a course. If you know that math is just not your thing and you need some kind of solid foundation, my courses are awesome, especially it's basically me teaching it. So there's going to be a lot of practice. You can pause the recordings. You can rewind. You can follow along with the notes. You can do some practice problems. There are a couple quizzes on there as well. So go ahead. Go here if you're interested into that, and you'll have to scroll down a little bit, but then you'll see all the different options of the courses. All right, go ahead and keep on tapping. There's 175 in here. I guess I'm not going to get started, huh? That's sad. was like, I know we got a lot of looky-loos, but I don't get started until we get to that 1K. Once we get to that 1K, if you want to keep the taps going, you keep the taps going. But if not, that's perfectly fine. But we just need to make sure that we get that algorithm going, make sure we put it out to people's FYPs so they can actually say, oh, wait, there's a person that knows how to do this math. You might not need me right now, but you might need me in a couple of weeks. Just saying. And if it is pretty late where you are and you're just like, I would do, but right now I got one eye open, you can definitely go to here to my YT, okay? Type in this, okay, or my name, which is my profile's name, and then you can actually do these 5 things, okay? All of my recordings of my TikTok lives are housed here since February 2nd, so there's definitely something there for almost everybody. If you go from algebra all the way up to the intermediate algebra courses at a community college, that's definitely one of the places you can get some extra assistance. And it's free, okay? It's a free subscription. There we go. Thank you so much. Developmental delays, learning disorders, that's 36? Yes, I can. Because I actually have done some ADHD, ADD, but I also done a little bit dyscalculia. So it depends on how severe we're talking. And if I can help, let's see. Let's talk, Jordan. Okay, go ahead. If anything, there's something called a service button that's on the bottom of your screen. If you click on that, just put your information in, and that will actually turn into a text message. And then I'll respond to your text, okay? All right. Hello, Michael. Thank you. Hey, Big Al. Okay, we're going to get the party started. Yes, we are. All right, so first thing, we're basically going to translate. We're going to come up with a way to get points. And we're not really solving, but we're ending up with the graphing. So we're taking a little bit of translating from verbal to algebraic. Then we're also taking what we did last night with plotting points so we can actually see our graph of our expression. So for the first one, we have 10 less than half a number. So we need to translate that from a verbal expression to an algebraic expression. So if we're saying 10 less than, okay, and then we have half a number. So if I take a look, this is representing one thing here, and this is representing the other. So we're not even going to substitute. Hello, Francis. How are you? So if anything, less than. Less than means what operation? Okay. Very close, Big Al. Ooh, so close. Okay. All right. Maya, we got our 1/2 x minus 10. Okay. Less than, that is minus. Okay. 10 less than. So that means 10 is the one that's going to carry this minus sign, which will turn into a negative. So it's something minus 10. Then we have half a number. So since we don't know what that number is, we're going to use a variable. So I can use x. So if you want, it could be 1/2 x or half x. If you write it as 1/2 x minus 10, or maybe you've done it as x divided by 2 minus 10, that can work as well. Okay, so this is going to be our expression. So in order for us to create maybe a graph to represent this expression, let me kind of set that bad boy up. We need to get some points. So in a way, we need to set up what's called a table. So I basically use my dots to represent each of my intervals. And I kind of like to make number 5 a little bit larger than the other ones because it's so much easier to find. So when we're trying to basically use this expression, when we're dealing with our x-axis and our y-axis, we need to set up an xy table. So if I'm coming over here, I'm going to pick some numbers for my x, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug that information in with my equation. Or expression, sorry. Keep saying equation. Now, the reason why I started off with a half, something that's going to give me a denominator, right? When you pick problems like this and they say, you know, tell us what your x is, and then the answer that we get is going to be our y value. I like to take a look, when it's a fraction, take a look at the denominator, and whatever the denominator is, make sure I pick values that are within that multiplication table. So since we have 2's, I'm thinking about the 2's times table. I'm trying to say that 5 times fast. But I like to get a couple numbers that are negative and a couple numbers that are positive. So if I say we got, like, say, a -4, -2, 0, 2, and if I want to go with a +4, I can go with a +4. Now that most of us are going back to school, a lot of the teachers really want to have at least 5 points on their coordinate planes, on their grids, all that. So all we're doing is we're basically taking these numbers and we're plugging it in for x in the expression. So let me zoom into the table so we can get to know that. So here we are. We're going to have -4 divided by 2 minus 10. So the -4 came from the -4 that I wanted for my x's. So now I just have to do simple math. So -4 divided by 2 will give me a -2. Now what's -2 minus 10? Okay, Kaya saying -12. Do we agree? Oh, you're from Ontario? I got family in Ontario. Okay, Big Al saying -12. Good. Okay. So what you just created was an ordered pair. We have an x value, we have a y value. So similar to what we were talking about yesterday, you got myself a point, which is at -4, -12. Okay. Notice on my graph, I haven't put any numbers down. The reason why I did that is I didn't know what numbers were going to come out. I knew it was going to be relatively large, but nothing too crazy. Because what I could do, I can count by 2's, I can count by 1's, I can count by 3's if I wanted to, whatever I want. But it has to be consistent, especially on the same axes. So let's say, for instance, I wanted, like, say, my y-axis to be counting by 2's. So this will be +2, +4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Down here will be a -2, -4, -6, -8, -10. But for the x-axis, I can count by 1's. So when you do your own graphs that you have to develop, okay, and sometimes you may have to do this. So if you have to develop your own graphs, it has to be consistent on the axes. So it has to be the same type of numbers on the x-axis, also the same type of numbers on the y-axis. Okay. Dr. Hey, Machiavelli. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. All right. So now let's plug in -2. So if we have -2 over 2 minus 10. So -2 divided by 2, that gives me a -1. And just like what Kaya said, -1 minus 10, both of the signs are going to be negative. So that means you're going to add them together. So that would give you a -11. So the order pair for that one is going to be -2, -11. Next one, we have a 0. Anything multiply, divide by 0 is going to give me what? Okay, so Michael sees a pattern. Awesome. Okay, good, Big Al. Good, Jordan. Good, Mott. That's it. So that means 0 divided by 2 will give me 0. 0 minus 10, that will give me a -10. So the order pair is 0, comma, -10. So if I want to do the same with the 2's, so we got 2 divided by 2 minus 10 is equal to 2 divided by 2 will give me a 1. But 1 minus 10, there you go, Michael. 1 minus 10, that's going to give us a -9. So the order pair that we have here is going to be 2, -9. So the x values you can make up. I like to have at least a couple that are negative and a couple that are going to be positive. So if I wanted to extend this, I can extend this once more so I can get my 4 involved here. So now I have my 4 divided by 2 minus 10. What would I get? 4 halves minus 10. How does that give you 10? I'm confused. Okay. How does it give you 10? Oh, right here. Because 0 divided by 2 will give me 0. Now 0 minus 10, we're not taking anything away from the 10. Okay, so since we're not doing 0 minus 10, the only thing that's left is going to be your -10. So when we have our 0 plugged in for the x, for the result, we got a -10. All right. Okay. All right. Take care, Mac. Machiavelli. All right. So we got a couple of negatives. So John's saying -2. Big Al is saying 2, -8. Maya's -8. Eric, we got -8. All right. 4 divided by 2 will give us 2. 2 minus 10. So let's think about it. All right. So you're in the negative $10. You owe me $10. You paid me 2. Guess what? You still owe me $8. Okay. So what you found was an order pair, which is 4, -8. Looking at these numbers, okay, looking at these numbers, it looks like I can count the x-axes by 1s because they're not completely off the chart. But looking at how I have my graph set up, my y's, we got a negative 12, a negative 11, negative 10, negative 9, negative 8, okay? But the highest is a negative 12. If I try to count by ones, I'm not going to have enough room. So what I could do is for my y's, I can count by twos. I know I won't be able to get everything, but I'll still be able to get some of my points. And that's what we really need. We just need some of our points so we can graph. And then this will be 12 right here. So this is negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, negative 10, and negative 12 is right here. And then for my x-axis, I can count by ones. So that's going to be a positive 5. This is going to be a negative 5. Okay. Right. Negative 12 isn't the highest number, of course. Okay. So, starting here at the origin, let me put this in red. Starting here at the origin, my first point is negative 4, 12. So I'm going to the left 4, because that's negative 4, and then we're going to go down 12. The next one is negative 2. So I'm starting here at the origin, going over to negative 2, and down 11. Now 11, the negative 11, is going to be in between 10 and 12. So somewhere in between here, we can put our point. Then we have 0, negative 10. Starting at my 0, now I'm going to go down 10. That's my y-intercept. It's the point where it crosses the y-axis. Next one is going to be at 2, negative 9. Coming to 2, negative 9 is between negative 8 and negative 10. And then the last one, we got our 4, starting at the origin, going to the right 4, and then down 8. And drawing our point there. Okay, and right here, we can actually see our line. Okay, I'm not going to mention rate of change and slope just yet. I think a lot of us just really need to kind of get ourselves together when it comes to graphing. So just getting the feel of it. So first, we had to translate this. Okay, so we translated from verbal to algebraic. Okay, we can have it of one of two ways. Okay. So I'm going to actually put the word or in between. It doesn't have to be both. You can pick one or the other. Then we want to set up a table. So we want to create what's called a table of values. So since I have a denominator of 2, why not make it easy for myself and make my x values be multiples of 2? Okay, the same thing. If it was like 1/3 of x, that means I'm making my x values of the thirds, of the multiples of 3. Okay, making it a little bit easy for ourselves. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not going to talk about M and slope. I'm doing it step by step, because once I start throwing in slope, everyone gets like, okay, yeah, rise or run, and they're like, okay, where do you go? So I got this. Thank you, though, Margot. This, because I'm not remembering this next day. The disabilities I have. Okay. Because usually, if you are going to be taking any kind of assessments, if you do have an IEP or a 504, before you do any kind of testing, and this is another thing, testing season is right around the corner. I know we just started school, but we had the PSATs that are coming up. SATs, there was actually a SAT last Saturday, and there's going to be another SAT coming up as well. If you're taking any of these testing, okay, and you do have a charted disability, you have to contact College Board. Either your guidance counselor is going to do it for you, or a member of, the special ed department is doing it for you. But if you're older and you still had disabilities and you have proof that you had an IEP, you can actually call College Board or get in touch with them before you sign up to see if they can carry and give you like extra time, or because some of them still do that. I have a couple of students that did get extra time, not only on the SATs and the ACTs, but I actually had a student that got extra time for the IBEW, because they had an IEP when they were in high school and he was an adult, or he is an adult, I should say. So always double check on those things, because you can probably get some extra time and be able to carry on some more resources. Okay. All right. Well, just take your time. Just take your time. All right. Okay. So let's set up our next one. Let me put this up here. Okay. All right. You have a good night too. Hey, Janice. How are you? About the IEP? If you're going to do any kind of standardized testing, and like say you're an adult, and if you had an IEP when you were in high school, you can actually ask for assistance. So I had a couple of students, one recently actually, that had an IEP when he was in high school, and he's like in his 30s now, and he was taking a test for IBEW. I always have to stop and think of the letters. And so he was able to get extra time and be able to use a calculator, because usually those tests you can't use a calculator for. So he was able to get granted extra time in the calculator, but you have to ask for it early on. So if you're thinking about, like, say, community college, and you're trying to get the ACCUPLACER, or not the ACCUPLACER, the SAT or the ACT, you have to get either your guidance counselor is doing it for you if you're still in school, or if you're out of school, well, not out of school, but if you're older and you want to do it your own way, especially, if I may say, if you're in private schools or if you're in Catholic schools, you're going to need to make sure you get in touch with College Board before you sign up for your SAT to see what you need to do in order to get accommodations. Okay, and this is for those that are in school right now. So if you need to get accommodations, because some private and public and Catholic schools, parochial schools, do not usually do a lot for the special ed departments. Some schools do, but some schools do not. So if you're thinking about taking your SATs, and I'm not talking about saying like, okay, there's a SAT on Saturday. No, you have to like put it in early to see if you can get that accommodations. Okay, because they have to make sure everything's all set up and all up and up. Okay. All right. So 8 times the sum of a number and 2. Okay. But why don't understand this? But why? But why what? If I never went to school and I tried to learn. Oh. So if you never went to school? So how can you take the SATs and ACTs if you haven't? Okay. Okay. So 8 times the sum of a number. Now this is the thing. When it comes to times, we can't use X anymore. Once we're in algebra, X for multiplication, done. It's either using parentheses or you're using a dot. So now we have 2 things happening. We have the sum of a number and 2, that's representing one thing. And then 8 times that, that's representing another. Anytime they say the sum of, difference of, and they give you 2 things, they majority of the time is going to have to be inside of a parenthesis, especially if they have something before it or after it. So the sum means addition. A number and 2. So your number could be X if you want it to be. So you have inside the parenthesis, you have your X plus 2. And we're saying 8 times. Now I see this a couple of times. People are putting like a dot here. Remember, parentheses mean multiplication. Okay, you don't have to double up. Okay, it's not overprotection. We just need a little bit. Okay, so since we have 8 times, all you need to do is just put an 8 in front of that parenthesis, and then we're good to go. Okay. Okay. All right. Yes, no X. Get rid of the X's. Stop, let it linger on. No more lingering love. I remember the good times. Let it go. It's gone. All right. Okay, perfect. All right, cool. So we had a lot of good people. So Chris, don't forget. Oh, you got it right there. All right. And then you don't have to switch them around. You can just write it as is. The only time you switch is when you have less than, greater than, more than, anything that has something than. Okay, something than or from. That's the only time you do the switching. Any other time, you just write what you see. So now that we have this expression, in order for us to get our graph together, we need a table. So let's see if we can get ourselves a nice table of values. So we don't have a fraction this time, so that's kind of nice. So we can use any numbers that we want. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. Only when we have fractions, that's when you want to make it easy for yourself. Take a look at whatever the denominator is, and then make your x values be the multiples of that denominator. But this time, we don't have that. We have 8 times x plus 2. Now, when they give you free range like this, obviously you're not going to be like, let me use 20. Like, that's just too much, right? So I like to kind of use 2 numbers that are negative, a 0, and then 2 positive numbers. That's usually like around the staple. So I'm going to say -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay. So all we're doing to find our y values, since we have our x's, is to plug it into that expression. So we have 8 times our -2 plus 2, and we're going to get an answer. Okay, what do we get for that first one? Wait, hold on. Hey, Danny. Difference of squares, not tonight, Cheyenne. Okay, yep, we're going to plug it in. So John's saying 4, Danny's saying negative 32. Okay, Michael's saying 0. So I got 3 different answers. Okay, we got to wait. For your eyes only, saying 0. Okay, Ty's saying 0. Marvelli's saying negative 14. Big Al's saying 0. Danny 0. Big Mike, what's up, Big Mike? Saying 0. All right, you're bad. Not a problem. Okay, Dale is saying 0. Okay, good. First thing, think about, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, order of operations. We always do what's inside the parenthesis first. So negative 2 plus 2. If you owe me $2, you gave me $2. Guess what? You don't owe me anything. Now you have your multiplication. Your 8 times 0. Anything times 0 is 0. Okay? So the order pair that we have for this one, I'm going to put it over here, is negative 2 and 0. Okay? All right. So now we're going to plug in our 8 times. We're going to substitute the negative 1. Let me change my colors for that. My negative 1 came in for the x. Then we have our plus 2. Okay. All right. Okay, there you go, Janice. I see that for the last one. Okay, for your eyes only, saying 8. Big Mike saying 8. Dale saying 8. Brandon, hello, Brandon. Welcome back. Saying 8. Okay. Okay, Marvelli, good. Saying 8. Good job. Oh, thank you for the roses. All right, so inside that parenthesis, we have negative 1 plus 2. You owed me $1. You gave me $2. Oh, thank you. You overpaid me $1. That's great. So it's a positive. Now you got that positive 1 times this 8. That gives me an 8. Okay. So now we have our order pair, which is the negative 1, which was the x. And we got an 8 out. A lot of you guys will probably recognize this as the input or output. Some people like to say it's the function machine, okay? Whatever we put in, this is what we get out of it, okay? So that's what's happening. Cakewalk, awesome. All right, so now we have our 8 times, but this time instead of x, we have a 0 plus 2, okay? What do we get? Yeah, 16 going off the chart. 16, good. For Danny, 16. Brandon, Michael, awesome. Dale, 16. For your eyes only, 16. Big Al, 16. John, 16. Excellent. Okay. So you notice that's why I didn't do the graph yet. I didn't do the graph yet. I wanted to see what's going to happen. Okay? All right? So here's the thing. And this is what I do sometimes. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you. I notice that if I'm putting in numbers, especially if I put this whole number of 1 in, it's just going to get bigger, right? And like Michael's saying, it's going to kind of go off the graph. Could I, just for giggles, change these, positive 1 and that positive 2, could I basically make it into, like, say, a negative 3 and a negative 4? Just so I can keep it on that graph. It's going to be still a straight line, because as I look here, my highest degree, if you don't see a degree of anything, that means it's a degree of 1. Anything that has a degree of 1, it's going to be a linear function, a linear equation. It's either going to be going straight up or it's going to be going straight down. Okay, you're still going to get a line. Okay? Yes? All right. So for sure, absolutely. All right? This is the thing that's freeing about math. You can manipulate numbers any which way to make things work. Okay? Think about all of the ads that we see here on TikTok. I'll call it out. Everyone's like, oh my God, so many people lost like 15 pounds. I lost 20 pounds. Oh my God, I'm snatched. I'm this, I'm that. Oh my God, I got all my hair back. Oh my God, I never thought I had a huge sex drive. Oh my God, it's everything. Like 9 out of 10 dentists say that this is the best toothpaste that we should have. Okay, 15% of people lost like 20 to 80 pounds. You're like, wait, what? We play with numbers all the time. So I'm going to make it easier. Since it's got a little curvature here, I'm going to make this my -3 because it's easy for me to translate that. And I'm going to make this my -4. See how it's nice and easy? It may not flow here, but we will see it when we graph it. So if I went with my -4, I have 8 parentheses, putting my -4 here. I know all my people with OCD are probably like, it's not in order. It's okay, breathe, breathe, breathe. It's gonna be okay. All right, so now we have -4 plus 2. So that gives me a -2. So here we have 8 times -2. That'll give us a -16. Okay. What is the obsession with 32, John? What's going on? What's going on? Because are you trying to do 8 times -4, which gives me -32, plus 8 times 2, which gives me 16, and then you got -32 plus 16, which will give you a -16. Is that what you're trying to do, John? Because I have a feeling. Because I think I'm just starting to see that. Yes, okay. So when you're doing your distributive property, make sure you finish it out with the 8 times the 2, and then you're going to combine your like terms. But see, here's another thing. To save you time, you can actually combine what's going on inside the parenthesis, then take that answer and multiply by 8. Okay? All right. So you can get it both ways. See, I tried to figure out what's going on. I'm like, why does it keep saying? I was like, what's happening? Okay, so we have our -3 plus 2 So now we have -3 plus 2, which gives me a -1. And -1 times 8 gives me a -8. There we go. All right, so that means here we have 0, 16. Wow, that's crazy. Then we have -4, -16. But then we have our -3 with a -8. So if I wanted to graph this, I'm looking at my x-axis. Okay. We got our x-axis here. Look, I can definitely count by ones. But I'm looking at my y-axis. They're a little cray-cray. But I don't want to count by 8s because that seems a little weird. I could probably do by 2s if I wanted to. Yes, so the range we got like negative 16 to negative 16. So now, I think I want to still count by 2's. So this will be a negative 2. I'll count by 2's on the y's. So this will be a 10. But I'm going to count by 1's on the x's. That's 5. That's negative 5. Negative 10. Negative 20. 1. Negative 16. Okay. All right. Yep, just for our points. Yep, just for our points. So we're just getting a little bit of practice of translating, a little bit of practice of finding our points by doing some evaluating. That's what it's called. So now that we found our points, now we're going to be plotting. Who the plot has twisted. Okay, so we have negative 2, 0. Starting at the origin, my x value is negative 2. My y value is 0. So that's right smack on the x-axis. Okay, that's one of our x-intercepts. Next one is negative 1, positive 8. So we have negative 1, then we're going to go up to 8. The next one is at 0, 16. Well, since we're already at the origin for the x values, so we don't go left or right because this is 0, but then we go up to 16. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, okay. So now the next one is negative, let's say negative 3, negative 8. So I'm going to go to the left, 1, 2, 3, and go down negative 8. And then the last one is negative 4, negative 16. So I go to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going down to negative 16, 2, 4, 6. Oops, right here. Okay, so it just gives you a good idea. Okay, so before we kind of get into jumping into slopes and y-intercepts and all kinds of things, x-intercepts, I might make a mention of it. I just want you to get a good idea or good sense of, one, how to find points by using evaluating. 2, a little extra practice of going from a verbal to an algebraic expression. 3, how to graph points on a coordinate plane. And that's it. I'm just trying to keep it simple. Okay? Everybody wants to jump in and throw terminology, and it's fine because it's true. We should be talking about slope and all that stuff, but that's not tonight. I just want people to feel comfortable with plotting points, creating what the y or the y values are, and translating from verbal to algebraic. Okay? No, we're not going to make pretty animals. I know, I didn't hear from my friend yet because I was like, I'm still a little questioning that point. So I haven't heard that. All right, how are we feeling? Okay, how are we feeling? I really just want to take these things step by step because some of these are the foundational pieces to help you with your college algebra course, your GED, your ASVAB. I just want you to be familiarized with this so then when you take a general standardized assessment, especially if it's multiple choice, you can just simply take a look at the answer choices and do process elimination. Then do some work to really solidify what your answer is. That's basically what I do. and that's how you do well with standardized tests. Okay, you don't take these exams, GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, IBEW, for electrician apprenticeship, your nursing part, especially with the algebra. You do not take these standardized tests the same way that you take a test in your classroom. When you take a test in your classroom, they want to see the work. They want to see the details so we can possibly give you partial credit. But when it comes to these standardized tests, there's no such thing as partial credit. Well, technically with the grading, but they're not like, oh, let me look at your answer sheets, and oh, let me look at your scrap paper. Oh, you got the answer here. Okay, so let's give them the full point. They're not doing that. Did you pick A, B, C, D, or E in some tests? Okay, that's all they care about. Okay. Hey, Amber, how are you? All right. So let's see if we can get possibly one more, maybe two, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll for tonight. So let's see. I just had it, and where did it go? Nope, it did that one. Oh, here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put it into the comments. I hope you're getting something out of this. I'm just going to put the number. Okay. So will be our next one. So the difference between 9 and a number. So Big Al is saying 9 minus x. For a test. Of course. Oh, where is it? Okay, you might have to give me some time because sometimes it takes me a while to download it from TikTok in order for me to upload it here. But if you go here at my YT, type in my ACG, okay, type this in, you will see all of my live recordings since February the 2nd. So some of them are repeated, but of course I never teach the same thing twice. I always the first time I do it, I'll find something. I'm like, oh, there's a faster way. I need to show that the next time I do that. So, but you can go there, if anything, and then just do a couple of things, which is hit the subscribe, the like, just do these 5 things for me. So I can either also help that grow. Okay. And I know it's late, so a lot of people want to go. Yes. Not a problem. Yep. So it's like a whole mixture of things. It's never exactly the same, so it doesn't go into like a good sequence, because I feel that if you really want some sequence learning, you can come to me for tutoring, or you can go and sign up for my courses that I have, which is located, sorry to cover up, which is located here. Okay. So if you go there, and if you want like a self-paced course for GED, ASVAB, TEAS, if you know foundational algebra is your Achilles heel, try my course. Because the reason why I say if you really need something from the very, very beginning and you want to be able to pause and rewind and rewatch, go right ahead. Okay? Because when you take a lot of these classes in community college, which is great, but that's great, especially if you're able to pick up things rather quickly. The first day of school is okay. Second day, all right, it's a little technical. By the third day, you're going to be like, oh, dear God, how many different tactics or different ways? Man, we're really zooming by this lesson because you only have 8, maybe 12 weeks to learn a whole thing of the curriculum. And trust me, you're usually going to go through 2 to 3 different things all at once. Okay? All right. Not a problem. Not a problem. All right. So, no problem, Chicago. A problem. So the difference between 9 and a number. So it doesn't say less than. Okay? So we're not switching anything. So I think it was Big Al. I know I had to rewind that. Yeah. So Big Al, you were right on the money. Okay? So that will give us our 9 minus the number. The number could be X, could be N, could be anything. All right. So difference, that's subtraction between 9 and the number. So we're not flipping it. Okay. So with that in mind, we can go ahead and set up like our table of values. And we don't need a whole heck of a lot, just enough. All right, so we have our X here, and we have a 9 minus X here. So you guys tell me, what would you like to use for your X's? Okay, yeah, so it's not going to be flipped. There you go. What would you like to use for your X's? Oh, thanks for the follow, G Baseball Dude 7. Okay. Want to do like 3? Okay. Okay, I can put a 3 in there. What else? Give me 4 numbers. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, 0, and -1. Okay, I can do that. All right, we got a 2. So from -3 to +3. All right. Okay, so no matter what, there's 3's involved. And I see why we want to use positive numbers that are less than 9. If I do numbers that are bigger than 9, like say 10, that will give me a -1. Okay, so if we say from 3, we'll count it down this way. It looks a little weird, but we'll do that. So 3, 2, 1, 0, -1. We'll see if we can squeeze a -2 in there. Normally, we'll start with the negative numbers up top. Then we'll go to the positive numbers. But here we go. We're breaking some rules. Why not? So we have our 9 minus, and we're plugging our 3 for the X. So 9 minus 3, not to insult your intelligence, what do we got? There you go, John. Thank you. There you go, Big Al. Dale, good. Yes, we got 6. Awesome. So now we're going for the next one. We have 9 minus 2. What's 9 minus 2? Good, Jumpy. Hey, Jumpy, how are you? We got Jumpy, we got Fooly, Big Al, Dale, John. Ma, how are you? Rosa, how are you? Good. Nice. We got our 7s. Excellent. So if we do 9 minus 1, what do we got? Hey Isabel, how are you? New follower, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Okay, Fooly Cooley saying 8. Jumpy Jen saying 8. Louis Ma saying 8. One Chicago Med saying 8. PCT saying 8. Hello, welcome in. Awesome. Alright, so let's keep it going. 9 minus 0. I know, not to insult your intelligence. We just want to make sure that you're good. Just want to make sure that you're good to go. Okay, Big Al saying 9. One Chicago saying 9. Fooly Cooley 9. Ma 9. Now, here's the thing that wants to bite everybody in the butt. Right here. So it's 9 minus, ready? A -1. Anytime you're substituting a negative, put parentheses around it. Trust me. Okay? So it's not 9 minus 1. Oh, it's 8 again. No, it's not. What do we got? There you go, Kaya. Good. 9 plus 1. There you go, Mob, with 10. Yes. Jumpy, 10. Yes. Because when you minus a negative, it turns positive. If you want to think of it this way, keep, change, flip. Keep that 9 positive, change that minus sign to a plus, and then flip this from a negative to a positive. That will give me my 10. All right, good, Big Al. There we go. And last but not least, same exact thing. We're plugging in a -2. Okay, so this minus sign doesn't disappear because that's a negative. Not yet. What would that give me? There you go, Jumpy. Good. 11. John, good. Ma, 11. Big Al, 11. Hey, Addicted. Okay, PCT, good. 11. Good. All right. Now, what you guys just did was you created order pairs. All right, so the order pair for this one is 3, 6. The order pair for the second one is 2, 7. For the third one is 1, 8. For the fourth one is 0, 9. Fifth one, -1, 10. And last one, -2, 11. So if I have to draw a graph by scratch, I'm looking at my x's. My x's, I can use the ones. I can go up by ones perfectly fine. My y's, I could probably do the same thing. Okay, especially in that first quadrant mostly. I can go all the way up to like 12. So if I wanted to count by ones, I can do that. Oh, hold on. Got that. Got this crazy puzzle piece I have to do. One moment. Anyone else that goes live that has to do those puzzle pieces, it's like, geez, like, can I? Okay. And when it comes to my y's, I really don't have too many negatives. So I really can just say, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this will be a nice little spot for me to put it. That's why I like my book that I have here. Is like no matter what, I can create a graph whenever I want. And it'll be somewhat equal. So this is my y's. This is my x. All right. So starting here at the origin. My first point, 3, 6. Where am I going? Where am I going to plot that point 3, 6? I know, it's hard to type it in there. Okay, I'm going to the right and then what? Then I'm going to go up. All right, look at that teamwork right there. All right. So you're going to go, starting from the origin, you're going to go to the right, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to go up 6. All right, so there we are in that first quadrant. Now we're going to have 2, 7. So 2, 7 takes me 2 to the right. And then this time, 7 up. Okay, so then we have our 1 take all the way to the 8. Then we have, here we're at the origin for 0, 9. We don't have to go left or right. All we have to do is just shoot up. That sounds nice. To the y-intercept, which is at 0, 9. Okay, so we can tell the pattern for right now, right? We kind of got that pattern, but let's keep it going. So we have -1. That means we're going to the left 1, and there we're going up 10. Then lastly, -2, we're going to go to the left 2 and then up 11. Oops. Okay, so we can see that beautiful pattern. Okay, but from left to right, that pattern is going downwards. Okay, that pattern is going downwards. I know, right, Fooly? Fooly cooly. All right, time for one more, or are you done? Because I'm good either way. How are we doing? Okay, Big Al saying one more, please. Michael, where are you? Then go to sleep. Okay. Well, I'm so glad you were able to come in. Thank you, Fooly Cooly. Welcome on in. I will be here. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. I'll be here at 9:30 tomorrow. I don't know. I might come a little early, because my 8:30 girl is actually going to be coming early. So I might be stepping in a little early. Okay. Can you see the equation again? Sure. Or the expression? Yep. So it's 9 minus x. Okay, you're here? Okay. Thank you. Well, you're usually the one more guy. Oh, thank you for the gifts. You guys don't have to go with the gifts. All right, so one more. Okay, got you. All right, so you guys keep tapping away. We're gonna see if I can make it a little more thought-provoking. Not like all of this isn't, but just a little bit. Because I'm like, I know that the tapping is helpful for more people to see me on their FYP, and I would greatly appreciate that, but I know how much it's also a pain in the neck, and sometimes it feels like it takes away from the learning sometimes. Well, that's the things that the price we have to pay with doing this. So, but this will be our last one. And then I'm going to go with my spiel, which everyone's like, oh yeah, now I can skip over that. So, okay. See if you can translate that one. Hello, Sarah. How are you? Has anyone else noticed that? Slide the camera over. Actually, I'll just grab the book a little bit. Yeah, it's nothing crazy. You're probably like, oh, that's it? I'm like, yeah. Have you noticed that the price of water has, like, gone ridiculously high? I went shopping the other day, and I saw a bottle of water for, like, a regular bottle of water, like maybe like a 32 ouncer or something like that. $5? When did I move to New York? Like, when did that happen? Like, what? Are we getting our water from the Himalayas? Like, what are we doing? Like, seriously. I mean, it's crazy. Yep, that's it. All right. Eat fruit. I do. But now it's like a lot of the fruit that I like to eat, their season is starting to drip off because it's the end of August. So now you got to be careful for the fruit that you eat that's not in season. Like when you see watermelon and it's not happening and it's not June or July, you have to be cautious of that watermelon. You have to. Because it's not going to be as sweet, and like inside the middle, it's just going to be disgusting. So you really should only be buying it during its season. Like peaches, we're getting close to the end of peach season. So like if you want to eat like some delicious peaches, millions of peaches for me. United States of America. That this is the best time to like get and start, canning if you guys are into canning. Maybe even freezing your peaches and stuff like that. Buy them now. This is the month. And after August, you should not be, maybe into like mid-September. After that, you should not be buying peaches. Okay? Because they have to be shipped in. Yeah. 100 pieces. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Got you on the corner. Damn, John. I mean, I'm like on the verge of getting my butt to Baltimore Street, so I don't even know why I'm tripping. Shoot. But I don't need a pimp. That's all I got to say. Okay. So, now that I got everyone's attention now. Okay, the quotient of 3 and a number. What did you guys get? So Big Al says 3 divided by X. We're all heading that way, no matter our age. I know, right? I'll be working at AM shift. You ain't making no money. People throwing quarters at me. Cling, cling. All right. All right. I know, right? But see, my thing is, knowing me, the way my life is set up, I'm going to see one of my former students in the audience. That's like my biggest fear. That's why I don't do it. So it's not because I'm afraid of God. Well, I am afraid of God. But it's because of that. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Where students are returning, thank you, Michael. Thank you. I need to hear that. So Big Al, yes, you are correct. It's going to be 3 divided by your number. Okay? We're so used to seeing x over 3, or we're so used to seeing 1/3 of it, but this time there's no flipping. So we need to figure out some numbers, some values for x that will help us to get a nice, easy graph. Nothing too crazy, nothing too technical, just a good solid 5 that will give us a nice, easy graph. So what will be some numbers that we can use? Because I know I'm definitely not going to use a 2, because I know how you guys don't like fractions or decimals. Exactly. Thank you, Michael. Woo, 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 woo. Bonus points. Okay? We can't have a 0 in the denominator. Okay? Anytime you have a 0 in the denominator, it's undefined. So I always like to say no O below. Let it marinate. Okay? No O below. So we cannot have a 0 in that denominator. Could be negative? Yes. Could it be a positive? Yes. But it cannot be 0. Okay? It messes up everything, but let's take a look. So we know we want it to be something that's nice and easily divisible by 3. So I know addicted to success, I agree. We should put 1 in there. So 1 is enough, and also John said that as well. 1 works perfectly fine. So we know one of them is going to be a 1. Be in tennis tomorrow at 9 p.m. There you go. Well, thank you. Okay, we could use 3 and negative 3. All right, let's do this. So let's say negative 3, negative 1. Can't use a 0, but we can use a 1, and we can use a 3. Okay. If you so happen to have one, like 5 points, another one could be a 1/3. Let's throw that in there. You're like, what? Let's throw that in there. What's she doing? Okay, so let's take a look. So if we're saying 3 over, in this case, I keep forgetting to switch numbers, negative 3. 3 divided by negative 3 gives us what? Gives us our negative 1. Thank you, Addicted. Yes, gives us our negative 1. So that means my order pair for this one is going to be negative 3, negative 1. Okay. If I plug in, we have 3 divided by negative 1. Okay. So we got our negative 3. There you go. Good. All right. So negative 1 and negative 3. So next one we have our 3 over positive 1. That will give us, good, we got our 3's. So our other order pair is going to be 1, 3. Then we have 3 over 3. I should see. Good, Jumpy. Good, Addictive. There we go. So we got our 1's. So we have 3, comma 1. Okay, we got a whole lot of 3's, we got a whole lot of points. Now, this is where it's going to kick off. So you're used to saying 3 over 1/3. This looks crazy. Mind you, like a double-decker sandwich, like from the Bumsteads, like Dad would, right? So in order for us to solve this, what we do is we multiply. Instead of going ahead with the division, dividing the fraction, we're going to multiply this by its reciprocal. So what I mean by that, we still have that whole number of 3. But instead of dividing by 1/3, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal 1/3, which is 3 over 1. So when you multiply a whole number with a fraction, to say, because 3 over 1, we just did that. 3 over 1 gave us 3. So it's really saying 3 times 3. Okay? Yes, gives you 9 over 1 or just 9. So that means my order pair for this one is 1/3, comma 9. Using a drawing. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Chicago. He's like, this is my role. This is what I do. All right. So now we want to graph it. Okay. Now we want to graph. So I'm taking a look at my x's. My x's we got from -3, basically to 3, because that 1/3, right? That's in between 0 and 1. So it'll be around here. So I definitely can count by ones. That's perfectly fine. If I look at my y's, all right, my y's seems pretty decent. Go up to 9. I can count by ones there too, but I just as well. So I should put more emphasis on trying to get up to maybe 10. Not so much negatives, but more so positives. So this is how people figure out what our graphs should look like. So I'm going to say probably roughly here. Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right on the money. So let me just slide down a little bit. And then I can get my graph from here to here. And let's get my x-axis together. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't it nice to do something and don't have to memorize a formula for right now? Okay. Okay. So when you take your assessment, or even while you're sitting here just doing the math, sometimes you just have to stop and think and just say, does that make common sense? Okay. Sometimes you just have to do that. Okay. Okay. Yes, Michael, you could use 1/2, positive and negative. Good job. Okay, no problem, Quinn. It's always my pleasure. All right, so right now we're counting by ones on both x and y's. So the first point, we have our -3, -1. So if I start at the origin, I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, and then down 1, plot my point. Next one is -1, -3. Go over to the left one and go down 1, 2, 3, plot my point. Okay, now we got ghostly spirits because my printer just came on and I'm not printing anything and there's no one else in this house. Yeah. Now we got, no, seriously. All of a sudden it's starting to shut itself off. Okay, all right. All right, there we go. 1 and 3, starting at the origin, going to the right one and going up 1, 2, 3. That is so crazy. Then we have 3, 1 going over 1, 2, 3, up 1. And you're probably like, but Audrey, it's not giving us a straight line. Well, it's not going to. The reason why, your x value is in the denominator. If your x value was in the numerator, yeah, you would get a line. You would get a straight line. Because that's the same as saying like 1/3 x. But this time, since my x value is in the denominator, we're just going to get some fun facts. Okay? So if you're just like, oh, wait, I think I'm doing this wrong. No, you're not. All right, so 1/3, roughly between 0 and 1, and all the way up to 9. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So roughly here. And that's the best thing when you're doing graphs. You can make your points extra large. Okay? So you're not going to get a nice straight line because it's not a linear function or equation. Okay. Well, in order for us to get parallel lines, that means we need two expressions. But we don't have 2, we just have 1. Okay. I know, right? About listening. Of course. Yes. Yes, not a problem. So now, just with some of those basic concepts, you're going to be able to pick some of these problems out. So again, like I mentioned, if you want to see the recordings, give me some time, probably tomorrow, because I'll upload it tonight and it won't be... or I try to download it tonight and it will take like 4 or 5 hours for it to download. It's hilarious. But if anything, you can definitely go to the YT channel. Just type in ACG Math Tutoring or my name, Audrey Codner, and then go ahead and subscribe, like, maybe even comment a couple of things. I have a couple of shorts which I need to add some more to it. But I am, since the fall is starting to come back and some of my students are coming back, so I might be switching my late nights to possibly afternoons or maybe even both, depending how things go. So right now, yeah, that thing that you hear in the background is my printer. Like, Dad, are you proud of me? Are you going to try to speak through it? Go ahead, print something out. No, I was just kidding around. But I try to get here live, especially on Fridays. Fridays, I was like kind of slowly switching to 7, but I might come back to the 1 o'clock because I don't have that student at 1:30 anymore. So Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, I'm usually here at 7 p.m. But Monday through Thursday, I'm usually here at 9:30. And if there is going to be a change, I usually keep it in the post. If you go to my profile, you'll be able to see there's always like kind of some kind of schedule that's there if there's any kind of update. But if you like my notebook, I actually created this. So we have our formulas, you can have your steps, like we did yesterday. We had some formulas, we had some steps that we wanted to do some things. And what I do is give you some room to actually do some work on both sides of the book. But that's not the only thing that this does. So I also have, after you go through all of these, I also have references in the very back of it. So one thing that we have is our factor chart. It's great for factoring. It's great for getting your multiplication. It's also great with breaking down radicals. So, but my thing doesn't go to 1 to 100. It goes to 1 to 200. Then also we have the operations terminology, what words and word problems connect to those operations, as well as your perfect squares and cubes. That's what's new in my latest books. So anything for the Ultimate Math Notebook for pre-algebra to algebra 1, these are the references that's in that book. We have inequalities, interval notation, rules for integers, because sometimes we forget, linear and quadratics, also order of operations, properties of exponents, looking at fractions operations, how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions, as well as the same for decimals. Then place values, breaking down fractions to decimal to fractions, percent, all that fun stuff. System of equations, system of inequalities. Then we have measures essential tendencies, arithmetic and geometric sequences, area perimeter, little Pythagorean theorem, SOHCAHTOA, volume, surface area, because sometimes they'd like to throw those problems in there, as well as your conversions chart. So have all those. The notes section, there's like 100 pages. I write rather large. I know I would definitely, if I was taking pre-algebra, not to say so I can buy more books, I actually, and don't pause, don't be like, oh, where can I buy this book? Just pause for a second, because there's going to be something I'm going to tell you just for the month of September. So you can actually like write all your notes. I would say this will be like one book per quarter. I write rather large because you guys can see it a lot clearer than anything else. And what I'm going to do for September, which is my birthday month, and I'm not one of those people that like, oh, it's my birthday month, I'm going to celebrate every day. Like, no, I was born on one day. That's it. But for my birthday month, for the month of September, I am actually selling all of my math notebooks 50% off. Just hold on. And it usually takes like a week, but it's not through the A. The A won't let me take percentage off for some weird twisted reason. And they won't let me bundle. So I'm like, all right, well, if I can't bundle, then let me do what I need to do. So basically from September 1st all the way to September 30th, you're going to get all of my notebooks for 50% off. So it's like roughly like $12 to $15, depending on what book you want to get. I also have, for my lefties out there, I have a lefty edition. And this is the lefty edition for my pre-algebra, algebra 1. Or my algebra and algebra 1 notes. So if you're a lefty, you're like, oh, thank God, I don't have to do all that. Nope. You have all that freedom. So in addition to these, I also have a book for 4th through 6th grade. Where is that? So this is for my 4th through 6th graders. With 4th through 6th grade, I tried to get more of the math tiles, because with the math tiles, you'll be able to keep track of your values a lot clearer and be able to see their chunks. We also, all the books have like a mood tracker, how you feeling before the lesson, during the lesson, and after the lesson. And as well, they also have the formulas and the steps section. And it's a little smaller because, you know, smaller kids, but they still have like the math resources, very similar to everyone else. And I think like a lot of I tried this out with a lot of my current tutoring people or the last couple years, and they really love this, especially if they're doing Algebra 1 or Algebra 2 with all the factoring. They were just like, oh, this was such a game changer. Then we looked at fractions, did some additions and stuff like that, fractions operations. So a lot of the stuff that you see in the other one is shown in this one. But then I actually have an example of writing and solving the equation. And then also the one thing with the younger ones, I kept the brain breaks that I used to get, like little puzzles, just to kind of keep them active. You know, they can't have their phone, so they might as well have all that. Okay? So that's for 4th through 6th. But again, some of the younger ones can use it as well. But if you like my actual notes and you want copies of my notes, you can go to Audrey's notes. So Audrey's notes is actually taking all the notes that I would do here on the lives, and I would actually have color. Okay? You know how much color is to make a book? It's expensive. Okay, so you can actually see the exact coloring of everything. And you notice it has a QR code. If you take a look, if you scan that QR code, it will take you directly to the live that's on my YT, directly to the live that's in connection to this topic. So if you want to, you can use it for remediation. You can use it for homeschool parents or homeschool students. Just like, you know, if you don't know how to explain it, let me explain it technically. Okay, so it really gives you the step-by-step, and all you have to do is just follow along. So they can scan it on their phone if they want to watch it. They can fast forward the live, they can rewind it, they can pause it, give them time to write down their own notes. If they want to add a couple extra things themselves, they can do that as well. So this is called Audrey's Notes. Right now I have books 1 through 5 that's out there. So trust me, there's not a major continuity to it, but a lot of people are starting to like it just so they can see my notes and have my notes if they ever need it. So that's Audrey's Notes. Okay, questions. Where can we find it? Yes, you can find it on the A, but trust me, wait until next week, because that will make your life so much easier. And it's only being done through here. Okay, so if you want to take a quick pick on that, you can take a quick pick on that. That's where you're going to find the sale. And I'm currently working on math notebooks. Workbooks. So you can actually practice, and there's a continuity, just like my courses, but it's more like some practice problems in there, some test questions, and then what you can do is pull out the sections of math that you need. So I don't want to say I don't want to tutor anymore, but I just want to say, like, if it's for people that are just like, I just need to understand factoring. That's all I need. Like, I don't need the whole entire course. I just need the factoring. Well, then take the factoring section, pay for that, and bada boom, bada bing, be a boss at factoring. So, and the way that I'm designing it, I'm doing a lot of research on notebooks, and yeah, it's all kinds of crazy. Birthday greetings. I don't really celebrate my birthday. I just said the month in general. It's always a sad day. I know. You would think it would be a happy day. I'm not one of those people who are like, oh my God, it's my birthday, I'm so excited. And I'm just like, yeah, another year, getting older. Another chin hair that I'm just like, where the hell did that thing come from? I got a beard. What's happening? Going through some changes. Maybe when it gets close. It's closer to the end of the month. I will give you that. But like for me, I want to celebrate you guys more than myself. Every day. There you go. Sure. All right. Okay. So I think I have peddled a lot of my life away. Yeah, I always feel so weird. But this is how I have to keep things going. if I want to continue to keep my house, want to keep going with things. Another thing that I'm doing is if you have an 11th grader that is thinking about taking the PSATs in October, I am actually running a review program for the month of September. So that's actually going to start September the 3rd. There should be a couple posts already out for that. Or if they're thinking about taking the NMSQT, which is your National Merit Scholarships, your colleges, if you're thinking about going to college, I don't know. Some people are like, I may or may not. But the colleges are looking at your 11th grade PSAT. They want to see how you've grown, how you've gelled. The SATs and the PSATs, trust me, they both measure all the way up to and including Algebra 2. So if you've already taken Algebra 2, you should be taking that PSAT. So if you need a refresher, a friend of mine told me that, Puerto Rico the kids haven't been in school for like 2 years, and a lot of them want to take the test. So I really directed it originally to them, but I'm really expanded to U.S. students as well. There's only 12 slots. I will open up another one if I need to, another time. If I need to, but right now I just want to keep it as intimate as possible, so people can get their questions answered. So if you know of someone that's in 11th grade that's going to take the PSAT in October and they need a quick refresher, just send them my way. I would greatly appreciate that. Okay. Oh, well, thank you, Michael. Thank you. Give so much to you guys. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So thank you so much. If we can get to 30, it's not September yet. It's not September yet. Wait until September. Then we can do all that. But if we can get to 30K, I would greatly appreciate it. I know it's a Tuesday. Probably half of everyone is super dog tired. I would greatly appreciate it. I know as the kids are going back to school, but guess what? So are the parents. So getting that routine and getting up earlier than you used to getting up and just trying to slide back into that is not easy. And I know some of you guys are like, I'm so used to working out at this time, and guess what? You can't because you got to go pick up the kids now. I get it. So eventually I might be opening up, like I said, might be going back to my 1 o'clock slot. But I want to see what happens with my students. And if you are talking or about to take, say, college algebra, and you think you're going to need a tutor, like if you're going to the class, start talking to your people. See if, if anybody is like feeling the same way as you and might need a tutor to help break things down. Please don't hesitate. Don't just call me at the 11th hour. Catch me a little early so we can do it. I'm open 7 days a week, Sunday to Sunday. But the only time that I really want to savor is my Saturday afternoons when I go to church. I just like going to church on Saturdays than Sundays. I don't know. It just feels right to me. I don't know why. Okay. So I don't know what math 1325 is. If you can message me, like there's a service section, there's a service button, the service plus button. If you click on that and just send me a quick text message, or you can just DM me here on TikTok, and just give me a couple of the topics. I think I know what they are. And if they are what I think they are, like say order of operations, and it's usually like intermediate algebra or early stages before you go to college algebra, yeah, I can tutor that. Okay. Now, normally, I'm really expensive with tutoring. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because tutoring is not free, guys. And I don't do it for $10 or $20. I'm so sorry. This is not Bangladesh. All right. and I'm really good at what I do, and I hope you guys see how patient I am with certain things. I normally charge $92 an hour, but yep, my prices had to go up, and it did. But for my TikTok people, I do it for $67. Okay, so just to try to keep it in there. Business calculus, I don't know. I've never heard of business calculus. I heard pre-calc. I heard business finances, but never business calculus. If you can message me, and then I'll send you my email. Or you can just email me. Like, let me see what your syllabus is. I can see that. Okay. Yeah, so September 1st. Where did I do my paper? Here we go. Yep. By September 1st, we're going to my personal bookstore right here. Okay, you can like screenshot that if you want. Yep. So I will actually give you guys a reminder, I think this Sunday. Yeah, because it's the 31st. Yep. So this Sunday, if you guys are here, I will send you guys, or just tell you a reminder, and just be able to get the notebooks, because the notebooks are usually like around like $18.95, and you're gonna get it for so much less than that. Well, some of them are $22. So, okay. All right. Any other questions? Am I taking Monday off? Nope. I actually have 3 students. Nope. No days off for me. I don't want any days off, because when I have a day off, I don't get paid. And mortgage comes around, it feels like every other week. But I know it's not. But it sure as heck feels like that. So, no, I will be working. I'll be working and I'll be live, but I think I'll be live a little bit earlier instead of 9:30. But I don't know if I'm going to do early morning and afternoon. Not sure yet. Because I really want to get to the gym. I know I got to work out, man. Everyone talks about getting themselves snatched for the summer. I'm like, shoot, I'm trying to get snatched in the fall. It's going to be 53. Woo! And I'll be like, it's cuffing season. All right, let me stop being silly. Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming in. If there's no other questions, I will see you tomorrow evening. And I might be like around 8 o'clock instead of 9:30. But I will send a post out. So if you want to follow me, so when I do make my post, you'll be able to see it. I think that might help a little bit. But I think I'm definitely going to be coming on a little bit earlier on Thursday, tomorrow. Okay? All right. Well, have a lovely evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow for more fun and entertainment. Okay? I think we're going to be working a little bit on actually saying slope. And we're just going to be looking at 2 points and trying to find slope. Okay? We're going to do one thing at a time. Hey, David Square. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, take care, Big Al. Have a great evening, guys. Bye now. And hey, almost forgot. Don't forget that you're amazing. All right, keep going after what you're working really hard, and I'm seeing so much improvement in a short amount of time. Just keep being amazing. Keep working hard. If you're thinking about taking the test, don't wait. Just take it. Take it one time, okay? Take it one time, see what you need to improve on, and then if I need to go over some stuff to tweak those areas, I'm more than willing to do that. Or I probably already have done it, okay? But keep being amazing. Don't let anyone tell you anything different, okay? Love you guys. Take care. Bye.